You are not answering my question. I am talking about the consumers. I'm not talking about other things. Is system loss beneficial, or do they relate to the service to the consumers?
Yes, Your Honor.
How?
Because in delivering
The system loss
supply,
appears in the monthly billing of our consumers. It is an added cost. Ang taas-taas na nga po, kaya kung sasabihin mo it is beneficial and it benefits the consumers, I don't think you are telling the truth. Kasi pinag-uusapan natin are the twin objectives. Hanggang ngayon po, that elusive way on how to make the prices of electricity reasonable and affordable, hanggang ngayon hindi pa natin nakikita.
no, it's what we are, it's our effort is
It's what
towards
you are
that
trying
every
to
day,
do,
Your Honor. Yes.
but failed to do until now, correct? Mr. Chair, I've been looking at the budget briefs of the energy sector, and I must tell you that I'm quite disappointed to see that these briefs basically deal only on our struggle to secure increased energy access for our people and, of course, to achieve resiliency in the country's energy program. While this is necessary, Mr. Chair, I think the twin objectives of EPIRA, which basically point to the price of electricity, has not been sufficiently presented in these budget briefs. For example, Mr. Chair, I'd like to go back to the declaration of policy. It's not only ensuring quality of electric power, Mr. Chair, but also affordability and ensure reasonable prices of electricity. On that particular aspect, these briefs, Mr. Chair, do not provide information on how we are dealing with that particular objective, affordability and reasonableness of the prices of electricity. Why so, Mr. Speaker? Mr. Chair, sorry. Are we not particularly concerned about also striving to deal with how we can bring down electricity? Okay lang po yung let's secure our sources of energy. Pero yung paano po yung prices ng electricity, this is also an equally important objective of EPIRA. Bakit wala po tayong masyadong discussion on how we should bring down electricity prices? Siguro, you can start with ERC. Kayo po yung regulator. I'll give you an example. Kanina po na-take up yung system loss. I was hoping that it will result in a consensus on how do we do with this? What are going to do with this? The system loss, for example. Any answer?
Yes, Mr. Chair. We can answer. In our presentation...
Hindi, una po, bakit wala tayong masyadong discussion on how we can bring down electricity prices in this country? Ang pinag-uusapan lang natin our struggle to access more electricity or the sources of electricity. Okay lang yun. We need to be secure in the future for electricity. Pero yung isang objective, parang dead ma lang eh. This is as equally important. Why so?
Mr. Chair, in our presentation, we actually provided and listed down the measures that the Commission is taking, particularly for 2025, on pursuing affordability and towards least cost pricing of electricity. It is in page or slide 10 of our presentation. But maybe before I get there, Mr. Chair, from our view, the lowering of electricity prices or ensuring an affordability is a result. It's a result of various measures being taken by the Energy Regulatory Commission as well as the Department of Energy. So I think all roads lead to achieving affordability.
That is precisely what we are asking you to do. This presentation or these briefs are devoid of anything our people can take in order that the prices of electricity will bring down at some future time. I'm giving you an example, the system loss. Wala namang consensus ano bang gagawin sa system loss. May I ask you, is the system loss beneficial to our consumer? Madam,
Opo.
is the system loss beneficial to our consumers?
If we're talking about the technical losses, they are, Mr. Chair, because they are part of the process of delivering electricity from the source to our end users.
You are not answering my question. I am talking about the consumers. I'm not talking about other things. Is system loss beneficial, or do they relate to the service to the consumers?
Yes, Your Honor.
How?
Because in delivering
The system
supply,
loss appears in the monthly billing of our consumers. It is an added cost. Ang taas-taas na nga po, kaya kung sasabihin mo, it is beneficial and it benefits the consumers, I don't think you are telling the truth. So is it beneficial really? And how will it be beneficial to the consumers when they add more in their billings?
Your Honor, if I may, that's why I initially made the distinction between technical and the other one is non-technical systems loss, because technical losses are part of the product. They are the result of the process of transmitting electricity from its source to its end user. So it's a necessary part of the process. There are non-technical systems losses. These are pilferages, for example, and they are admittedly not beneficial to the consumers. That's why all distribution utilities have an obligation to limit the non-technical systems losses, and what they can only pass on are those within the cap of the systems losses level set by the ERC.
So you are saying that they are not really beneficial to the consumers, specifically
Apo.
yung non-technical. These are
Yes,
pilferages.
tama po.
So, paano ang gagawin natin? Kasi po kaya ako pinipilit ito po yung desisyon na po ng Supreme Court. Alam naman po ito. I think you know the case between Energy Regulatory Board pa po noon versus Meralco, November 15, 2002. Ang sabi po kasi ng desisyon ng Korte Suprema, to charge consumers for expenses incurred by a public utility which are not related to the service or benefit derived by the consumers from that public utility is unjustified and inequitable. So these are expenses incurred by a public utility. Yung public utility naman, before it decided to go into this business, alam naman niya that these are costs. These are legitimate business costs. Risk na po ito But still they decided to go into that business and then pass it on to the consumers. So sabi ng Supreme Court, this is inequitable and unjustified. The question raised nga po doon is, should public interest prevail over private profits? You answer that.
That will be the last question for the first round. Kindly answer, Attorney.
O sige, yun na lang po kasi. Ang dami ko kasi, hindi man tayo matatapos ng 3 araw kung tatanong ko yung lahat. But just this one, kasi pinag-uusapan natin are the twin objectives. Hanggang ngayon po, that elusive way on how to make the prices of electricity reasonable and affordable hanggang ngayon, hindi pa natin nakikita. Ang sabi pa po doon, Mr. Chair, doon sa desisyon na yun, may kinalaman po kayo, Madam ERC. Sabi niya, rate regulation is the art of reaching a result that is good for the public utility and is best for the public. So that's the balancing there. And you talk about reasonableness, sinabi rin ng Supreme Court yun. Sabi niya, the requirement of reasonableness comprehends such rates which must not be too low as to be oppressive, but not too high as to be oppressive. Okay ba, paano yung balancing mo ngayon as a regulator? So, should public interest prevail over private profits? What is your answer?
Attorney Mona?
Yes, Your Honor, we confirm. In the Commission, consumer protection, consumer interest should prevail for our system to be sustainable. And there are ways to align the interest of the private investor with the public interest. And that's the role of the regulator, to be prudent, to make sure that only prudent costs will be passed on to the public.
And
Thank
you've
you.
not done that until today,
Yeah.
correct?
No, it's what we are, it's our effort is
It's what
towards
you are
that
trying
every
to
day,
do,
Your Honor. Yes.
but failed to do until now, correct?
Because we have not achieved affordability. Tama po.
So
Thank
yes.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Kulang pa po.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Congressman Marcoleta. Thank you, Attorney Mona de Malanda.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, you're recognized, Secretary
No,
Lutiga.
just to add to Congressman Marcoleta's concern, we do recognize the legitimacy of that objective, which is in IPIRA and in the pronouncements of government. From the standpoint of the Department of Energy, we need also to do our share. One, in terms of promoting energy security or supply, that's one way of contributing to bringing down the price of electricity. Because for as long as the supply is thin, then as Congressman Marcoleta has pointed out, the prices will remain not affordable for the majority of our people. And the other is for example, the hybridization program that the National Power Corporation is trying to do and promote in the off-grid areas. That's also intended to bring down the effective price of electricity, and we will continue to press on the policies that will make it easier to put up new generation capacity so that our supply will become adequate and there will be greater competition that will drive prices down. Thank you.
Umani naman ito ng iba't ibang reaksyon mula sa ating mga netizens. Ayon kay Jerry Eugenio, lumalabas na walang kakayahan ng Congress hanggang Senado para pigilan ang walang habas na pagtaas ng kuryente. Pahayag naman ni Lino Maranon, sana bumaba ang presyo ng kuryente, isa kasi yan sa nagpapahirap sa Pilipino. At ito naman ang saloobin mula sa ating kababayan na si Nikki Rosales, all roads lead to corruption and profit for the energy provider, not to have an affordable price of electricity. Mga kababayan, feel free to comment below para maglabas ng saloobin sa balitang ito.